Holidays and Manana Sizuas, Imina 35 na Legislature in Guam is called to order. For the prayer this morning, I kindly ask that Senator Mary Torres kindly lead us, and if I can have my colleagues please stand.
Kinaani Tata Elehino Zeni Spiritu Santo. Ki esti na tempun animas, sa ni templo ni tafanhasu, imanyanata ni manmatay, maila zita manadzuzut kias Jesu Christu. Si zuus una izu pas zan tranquilo, para ta accepta siha, iti sinya na tulaika, I anamu para ta tulaika, itanat sinya. Zani men henalum para itungo iman diferencial. Amen. Ginani Tata la ilahina zani Espiritu Santo.
Situus Masi, Senator Torres, for the recognition of a recipient of Miladzan Mastakiluna sacrificial, Senator Regine Biscoli, you are recognized at this time.
Sidus Masi, Madam Speaker, and buenos colleagues. On behalf of a grateful island and country, we honor Mess Attendant First Class Non-Petty Officer Andres F. Muffness, World War II, and the family of Mess Attendant First Class Non-Petty Officer Andres F. Muffness for making the ultimate sacrifice in service and defense of our island and country.
Si Diyos Masi, Senator Lee, for the recitation of Inafresi against Senator Regine Biscoli, kindly lead us.
Inafresi, girinimas takilu ginasoku, imas takalum gikurasonhu, zanimas figu nanina senyahu, huufresin maisadu, parabai patai, zani defendi, ihinengi, ikutura, ilingwahi, airi, hanam zanitano tamoru. Niran shaku diretsu girinas duas tata, esti hua fitma gihilu biblia, zani benderahu benderan guahan.
Si Diyos Masi, Senator Lee, and for the singing of the Guam hymn and the national anthem, would our gentlemen members, our minority, please lead us in singing the Guam hymn and the national anthem.
Para
Si Jesus Maasi. Si Jesus Maasi, tatlo to my colleagues. And at this time, Madam Clerk, Haji Mangagi, Gwini Putfabot, roll call.
Senator Castro. Senator Lee. Senator Marsh Titano. Senator Moylan. Senator Munya. Speaker Munya Barnes.
Manana si Jesus, Kagya.
Vice Speaker Nelson. Senator Perez. Senator Rajel. Senator San Augustine. Senator Shelton. Senator Titagui. Senator Pito Terlahi. Senator Therese Terlahi. Senator Torres. Madam Speaker, there is a quorum.
Si Jesus Maasi, Madam Clerk. And at this time, I will recognize Majority Leader, Vice Speaker Nelson. You are recognized at this time.
Si Jesus Maasi, Madam Speaker, I move to approve the Legislative Journal dated September 30, 2019, subject to corrections.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Majority Leader, Vice Speaker Nelson, you are recognized.
Madam Speaker, there are communications and petitions, and I move that they be appended to today's session journal.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Majority Leader, Vice Speaker Nelson, you are recognized.
There are messages from E. Magahagan Guahan, and I move that they be appended to today's session journal.
Are there any objections on the motion? Hearing none, motion carries. Majority Leader, Vice Speaker Nelson, you are recognized.
Madam Speaker, there are reports of standing committees, and I move that they be appended to today's session journal.
On that motion, are there any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Majority Leader, Vice Speaker Nelson, you are still recognized.
Madam Speaker, there are no report of select committees.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Madam Speaker, I move that bills introduced, Bill numbers 210-35 COR and 211-35 COR, 212-35 LS through 214-35 LS, 215-35 COR through 219-35 COR, 222-35 COR, and 223-35 COR, and resolutions introduced, resolution numbers 215-35 COR through 223-35 COR, 224-35 LS, and 225-35 LS, and 226-35 COR through 238-35 COR be deemed to have been given their first reading, just to remind the members of the bill log numbers 220 and 221 are unassigned.
On the motion, are there any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. We are in motions right now. Majority Leader, Vice Speaker Nelson, I will recognize you.
Madam Speaker, I move
No.
Madam Speaker, I move that all congratulatory, commendatory, and condolence resolution introduced today and for the remainder of this legislative session be considered first read and adopted to allow the Legislative Council to make technical corrections and to add all senators as co-sponsors.
Senator Titagui, any question on the motion?
Speaker, I would like, notwithstanding House rules, I move to add Bill 5 as amended by the Committee on General Government Appropriations. That is my motion in motions right now.
Senator Titagui, please let us first finish the motion by Vice Speaker Nelson. She has a motion on the floor regarding...
My apologies, I thought it was already over. Okay, I'll stand corrected.
Thank you, Senator Titagui. Senator, on the motion, Are there any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator San Augustine, you are recognized.
Madam Speaker,
We're still in motions right now. I will address on the standard motions, and then I will go back to Senator Tydewig because I already recognized her. But we have another motion from Senator San Augustine.
yes, Madam Speaker, with our Legislative Employees Association's Halloween celebration, notwithstanding the House rules, I move to waive Section 1.02, parentheses 10 of the standing rules.
No objection, hearing none. In the spirit of Halloween, motion carries. On the motion, we are still in motions. I will entertain Senator Tydewig, and if you can go ahead, you did state the motion, please, and then the title, please.
Madam Speaker, notwithstanding the House rules, I move that Bill 5-35 LS, as amended by the Committee on General Government Operations, Appropriations, and Housing to the second reading filed for consideration during this month.
Senator, please read the title. Do you have the title?
Yes, I do, Madam Speaker. Okay, this is an act. Bill number 5-35 LS, an act to add a new Article 9 to Chapter 77, Division 2 of Title 12, Guam Code Annotated, relative to developing a new public hospital facility through the establishment of our Hospital Life Planning Commission. Madam Speaker, this bill had a second public hearing because it had changed.
Thank you.
To,
Thank you.
instead of a establishment of a commission, to turn it into a task force instead.
Yeah. There has been a motion to add Bill number 5-35 LS, right, Senator Tydewig? It's LS. On the motion, are there any objections? Legislative Secretary Shelton, I will recognize you at this time.
Siduous Masi, Madam Speaker. This is a bill that we discussed during the Committee on Rules a couple of days ago, and as I expressed then, the Guam Memorial Hospital during the oversight hearing last week stated that they would have the Army Corps of Engineers coming in the next couple of months, I believe next month in in November, to do a assessment of the facilities, and I asked for consideration for us to hold off on this bill until we get that recommendation from the Army Corps of Engineers.
So, Senator, is that an objection? There has been an objection. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. The motion is to put Bill number 5-35 LS on the session agenda. Say that, Senator Marsh Teichner, do you have a point of inquiry?
So just to make it clear, based on the questions that were being raised, we're voting on the motion to approve putting it onto the floor.
To add it to the agenda. Yes, ma'am, you are right. On that motion, there has been an objection. If there has been an objection, all those in support of putting Bill number 5-35 LS on session agenda this month, please signify by raising your hand. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Motion carries. We are still in motion. Senator, Senator Therese Talari, I will recognize you on motions.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'd like to move to place the nomination of Vincent A. Leon Guerrero as a member of the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board. He's a history alternate representative onto the legislative concurrences.
The name again, Senator Terlahi?
Pardon?
The name?
Vincent A. Leon Guerrero.
Vincent A. Leon Guerrero to be placed on the agenda for confirmation. Are there any objections? Motion carries. Senator Terlahi, I'll still recognize you.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'd also like to place the nomination of Angela M. Camacho from the Committee on Health, Tourism, Historic Preservation, Land, and Justice to be as a member of the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission to be placed on the legislative concurrences.
On that motion to place on the agenda, are there any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator Joe San Augustine, I will recognize you at this time. Please proceed.
Madam Speaker, notwithstanding the House rules, I move to place on the session agenda from the Committee on General Government Operations, Appropriation and Housing, the nomination of Ryan Marcel Johnson to serve as a member attorney to the Guam Real Estate Commission.
On that motion, hearing no objection, motion carries. Senator San Augustine, you still have the floor.
Madam Speaker, notwithstanding the House rules, I move to place on the session agenda from the Committee on General Government Operation, Appropriation and Housing, the nomination of Frank J. Pangilinan to serve as member, real estate broker, Guam Real Estate Commission.
On that motion, are there any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. At this time, Senator Marsh Titano, I will recognize you.
Sainuma Asi, Speaker. I move to place in the voting file from the Committee on Heritage and the Arts, Parks, Guam Products, Hagatnya Revitalization, Self-Determination, and Regional Affairs, hereby reports out the nomination of Donovan L. Brooks to serve as a member, Guam Education Telecommunications Corporation, KGTF PBS, Board of Trustees, with a recommendation to do confirm.
On that motion, are there any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator Titano, you still recognize. Senator Marsh Titano, please proceed.
Sainuma Asi, Madam Speaker. I move to place in the voting file from the Committee on Heritage and the Arts, Parks, Guam Products, Hagatnya Revitalization, Self-Determination, and Regional Affairs, hereby reports out the nomination of Rosemary A. Clement to serve as a member of Guam Educational Telecommunications Corporation, KGTF PBS, Board of Trustees, with a recommendation to do confirm.
On the motion, are there any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator Titano, you still have the floor.
Seduas Maasi, Madam Speaker. I move to place in the voting file from the Committee on Heritage and the Arts, Parks, Guam Products, Hagatnya Revitalization, Self-Determination, and Regional Affairs, hereby reports out the nomination of Donald H. Rubenstein to serve as a member, COSA's Board of Advisors, Guam Museum, with a recommendation to do confirm.
On that motion, are there any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator Therese Terlahi, I will recognize you at this time.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. History Alternate Representative of the Guam Historic Preservation Review Board.
On that motion, are there any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator Terlahi, I'll still recognize you at this time. Please
Thank you, Madam
proceed.
Speaker. The Committee on Health, Tourism, Historic Preservation, Land, and Justice does hereby report out the nomination of Angela M. Camacho to serve as a member of the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission with a recommendation to do confirm.
On that motion, are there any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, Senator Terlahi. Senator San Augustine, you are Senator Clint, I will recognize you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Notwithstanding the House rules, I move to place on the session agenda from the
Senator Clint, one moment, please. Senator San Augustine, on the motion to place the nominees on the voting file, I will go ahead and recognize you this time. Thank you. I apologize, Senator Rangel, but we need to put it on the voting file. Senator San Augustine, please proceed.
Are we on legislative concurrence already?
We're moving the names that you had mentioned earlier from the concurrence to the voting file. Senator San Augustine, on the names.
On the two names.
Ryan Johnson and Frank Pangilinan.
Yes, Madam Speaker. That is Frank J. Pangilinan, and to move to the voting file?
Can you go ahead and state the committee, sir, and the name, and then the place
Yes,
where
ma'am.
they'll be members of?
Yes, Madam Speaker. From the Committee on General Government Operations, Appropriate and Housing, the nomination of Frank J. Pangilinan to the voting as a member of the Guam Real Estate Commission to the voting file.
On that motion, are there any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Again, Senator San Agustin, I will recognize you.
Yes, Madam Speaker. From the Committee on General Government Operations, Appropriation and Housing, the appointment of Ryan Marcel Johnson to serve as member to the Guam Real Estate Commission to the voting file.
On that motion for Ryan Johnson, are there any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. I did have, at this time, I will recognize Senator Clint Rangel. I will recognize you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that we go back into motions.
For reconsideration, are there any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator Clint, you recognize.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Notwithstanding the House rules, I move to place on the session agenda from the Committee on Economic Development, Agriculture, Maritime, Transportation, Power and Energy Utilities, and Emergency Response. Hereby reports out the nomination of David John to serve as a member of the Guam Economic Development Authority Board.
Are there any objections? There is an objection. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand to place David John in the, on the agenda. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion carries. Again, Senator Clint, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Notwithstanding the House rules, I move to place on the session agenda from the Committee on Economic Development, Agriculture, Maritime, Transportation, Power and Energy Utilities, and Emergency Response. Hereby reports out the nomination of George Chu to serve as a member on the Guam Economic Development Authority Board.
On the motion, are there any objection? There is an objection. All those in favor, please. Seeing no objection on the motion. No objection. Motion carries. Senator Clint, is there any more? Senator Legislative Secretary Shelton, you are recognized.
Sedus Masi, Madam Speaker, I move to place Bill number 80-35 as amended by the Committee on Economic Development, Agriculture, Maritime Transportation, Power and Energy Utilities, and Emergency Response, an act to amend Section 8311 of Article 3, Chapter 8, Title 12, Guam Code Annotated, relative to raising the renewable portfolio standards of the Guam Power Authority, and to add a new Article 6 of Chapter 8, Title 12, Guam Code Annotated, relative to the creation of the Community Solar Host Program onto the session agenda.
Is that as amended or substituted? As amended?
As amended.
As amended. Is there an objection? There is an objection. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. Any other motions? Yes. Can I have Senator Clint, can you please move us back to legislative concurrence? On the motion to move us back to legislative concurrence?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that we go back to legislative concurrence.
On that motion, without any objection, motion carries. Yes. And then Senator Clint, I will recognize you to put the names into the voting file. Individually, please. Senator Clint, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to place the nomination of David John to the Guam Economic Development Authority Board of Directors into the voting file.
On that motion, hearing no objections, there is no objections. Motion carries. Senator Clint?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to place the nomination of George Chu to serve as a member of the Guam Economic Development Authority Board to the voting file.
On that motion, are there any objections? Seeing none, motion carries. Anything else? Senator Tello, you
Could I
are
just have 1 minute, or 30 seconds?
a moment's recess. Imina 35 na legislatura in Guam is back from recess. We took a moment's recess to hear Senator Titagui. Thank you, Senator Titagui. You have the floor.
Madam Speaker, notwithstanding the House rules, I move to go back to motions.
On the motion, are there any objections to go back to motions?
No.
There's an objection. All those who want to go back to motions.
Madam Speaker,
signify by-
you gave the opportunity.
Senator, please, there is a motion to, notwithstanding to go back to motions. There has been an objection. All those in favor to going back to motions, please signify by raising your hand. Motion fails. We are in the consideration, second reading file, Bill number 13-35 COR. Senator Amanda, I will recognize you.
Sedulous Masi, Madam Speaker, I just asked to place it towards the bottom of the agenda as I'm still waiting for some feedback from the Attorney General on the amended version of the bill.
On that motion to push number 13-35 COR to the bottom of the agenda, are there any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Senator Vice Speaker Nelson, please.
Madam Speaker, I'd like to request a recess for 11:30, a correction, 2 p.m., 1400 today. Thank you.
On that motion, no objection. We are in recess to 2, was that 30 or 2 p.m.